Hello and welcome back to the stream. How are we? I hope we're all well. Can you see me? Can you hear me okay, guys? Let me know in the chat down below. It's Monday, which means one thing. We are back for more Monday night League One roundup of the whole weekend. And what a weekend we had in store. We had a 6-star performance from Sheffield Wednesday. We had Burton coming from 2-0 down to win 3-2. We had controversy against Portsmouth. We had Sunderland beating Crewe. We had Gills pulling off a great away win at Doncaster at the bottom. So much to talk about on this Monday show. But as ever, we sometimes got a guess. And of course, when he does come on, he normally makes bold predictions. One about Burton, who did really well at the weekend and got a point. He's here with us today. Jake, how are we, mate? And again, how are we, Pud? You're here.
I'm here. Yeah, no, I'm all right now because had a really good day out Saturday. Had a really good weekend, obviously winning at Wimbledon, practically almost clinch safety, I think. I think we're now out of that bottom 5 group. So, no, really good weekend. Good real 7 days, really. So, no, happy to be talking more about League One and talking about a relegation scrap that doesn't involve my team for a change.
All right, okay. I wonder what it does involve. If you are new to the channel, guys, please subscribe. The support recently has been absolutely unbelievable. We've gained over 100 subscribers in the last week or so. So brilliant. Thank you for that. Again, if you want to go follow the social medias, FDFC Nappers, and again, the same on TikTok if you want to go and give that a follow. Again, a couple of questions before we get into it, Jake. Great result for Lincoln at the weekend. You've gone to a back 3, and again, you're looking rosy again.
Yeah, I know. Michael Appleton showing that the supporters who are very anti-Appleton that he has got a plan B. So really good to see. Obviously, it's nice to have fit centre-backs as well. As you'll know, covering League One for the last 18, 20 months or so, we've really struggled to have a back 4 that are stable. And now we've got a back 3 that are working. So, really good. Just really happy and a really good result on Saturday as well.
Well, as ever, we're going to go through the whole league as in general. Now, today's show, we're going to look at, again, the lineups. I want to have a look at the 11s more likely. And again, where they can maybe build for next season and where they can maybe build for the rest of the season. Because I think your mid-table side will want to look at the playing style a little bit more, playing a different way, maybe experimenting for next season. Those sides maybe that are on 50 points. Maybe if you're on 44 points, it's not the greatest of idea to switch it because you never know what can happen in Sky Bet League One. It's in Plymouth a couple of years ago. They were 12th with 12 games to go and they went down on the last day. So anything can happen. And again, we're going to go through some nice little stats that I've pulled together. Today, we're going to have a look at the top 6 as well and the bottom 6 again and their next 3 games because you think about it, there's only 10 or 11 games to go. And I do believe a week on Saturday, there's going to be a lot of games cancelled as well. So again, that puts the season back even further as well. So lots of games to cram in. We are going to come to the comments just quickly before we do start. Hello, Riley. Hello, Tony. Hope you're okay. Hello, Kieran. Hello, Riley. Celia, you all right, mate? I'll see you tomorrow up the Cods. Hello, Father. You all right, mate? Hello, Shay. You all right? Hello, guys. Everyone that's joining. Give it a like. Give it a subscription. And we're going to start. Again, Accrington. Great result at the weekend. Struggling Charlton, Jake. You look at them, 6 out of the last 7 they've lost. They got a point at home to Charlton. They went on a really good run, didn't they, when, again, they put your Johnny Jackson. Since then, not been great, has it? Again, Lecco's not been firing. Stockley got a goal, to be fair, he's 8th for the season's not been firing. They've been, Washington's not been scoring. They have gone to a back 3. They've got Sam Lavelle back now again. Gunter, Pearce in that back 3 as well. McGilvery's a good goalkeeper. They've got a good squad. Fraser's in there as well. Dobson and Lee in midfield. There's plenty of experience. What do you think's going wrong for them?
I just think there's no motivation for them there anymore. Obviously, when Johnny Jackson was the interim manager, he had the contract to play for. Everyone was saying, get Johnny Jackson in, get Johnny Jackson in. And then they give him the contract on a full-time basis and it's completely dropped off. I think we spoke about it before. Similar with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang when he was at Arsenal. He was banging the goals, then got that massive contract and then completely dropped off the face of the earth. So I think it's a similar thing for Charlton, really. And as much as you probably want to criticise Charlton and their fan base may criticise their own team, I think this is more Accrington sort of showing how much of a solid League One outfit they are now under John Coleman. And you probably saw the good and the bad of Tommy Lee, obviously coming from Bognor Regis recently. Really well taken goal. I mean, the first goal was sort of pinball in the penalty box, wasn't it? And then goes and gets himself sent off, which is interesting. But no, back to Charlton, really disappointing. Obviously, they've dropped low in the table now, so they're potentially one of those teams you might consider for being dragged into the bottom 6, bottom 4, and really disappointing for Charlton, because they're obviously a massive football club at this level, and they'll be expecting to do better with the individuals in their team. Like you say, it's probably more about recruiting in the summer where they can build a togetherness and they can gel and hopefully add a few more cogs to the wheel and have a much better campaign next time around.
Yeah, I agree. And you look at Accrington at home, they've got the fifth most points at home. 37 out of 49 have come at the Wham. They've been absolutely brilliant. Some great results against good sides. You're beating Rotherham at home. You hammered Fleetwood. And then they go and lose to Wimbledon. And then they go and beat Charlton. Again, that mixed bag of results, 11 wins, 4 draws, 4 defeats out of 19 at home. 12 points away from home will worry John Coleman. Again, they did get a nice away win around, Christmas, January time away at Burton Albion, where they won 1-0. And you've got Sean McConville on the side who can unlock a door. He's got 13 assists this season, which is the most in League One. Above Paddy Lane and Scott Twiney, been one of the best attacking midfielders in League One this season for chances created and assists. And again, but Charlton will improve. Again, Bolton against Plymouth. Again, Bolton have been on a good run of late. Again, Plymouth are so weird. They won 4. Then they go and lose 2. Then they go and win the next 3. But it's bounce back ability, isn't it, Jay? You go and lose 2 games. A lot of sides can go and lose 3 or 4. Then they're out the picture completely. A bit like maybe what Bolton did earlier in the season, where they went on that horrific away form, where I think they only scored 1 in 9 and they lost all 9. Whereas Plymouth always find a way to come back. They wasn't even the strongest side on Saturday. Yeah, Jeff got on the bench. Again, Macaulay Gillespie scoring a goal from a corner. It's a brilliant corner in. You look at it, Ennis and Hardy up front. Hardy's been brilliant this season. You've got, Grant and Edwards on the wings. You've got Mayer, Houghton in that midfield as well. Who are, good players. Broom, who's been, brilliant. I think that's an unbelievable sign. I don't know how they got him. Gillespie, Bolton and Wilson at the back, a back 3 as well. And Cooper and goal. It's a very solid side and a great result away. 1-0, 3 points. Happy days into the playoffs.
Yeah, and Bolton's a really place to go. We only found that out, a couple of weeks ago, and especially the run that Bolton have been on. They're probably eyeing this game as a real benchmark of their season to see, yes, we've beaten the teams around us and we've beaten the teams below us to get into this position. But Plymouth are one of those teams that they're chasing, and this is a real sort of kick in the gut for Bolton. I'm sure they'll be disappointed. Obviously, Plymouth, I think it's the first time they've won at Bolton in around 40 years. So really impressive from their point of view as well. And they probably deserved it. I mean, if you're being really harsh on Plymouth, Ryan Hardy probably should have scored towards the end as well. James Trafford made a really good save. But yeah, I think Plymouth, in terms of having that ability to go on these streaky runs of form, it can be a good thing in terms of, if you're getting games in hand, it piles the pressure on. But then once they've lost a couple, you can see the heads go down. They're not really too interested. I think Conor Grant's a really good player at wing back as well. He's really impressed me so far this year. But they're one of those sides, aren't they? They're sort of similar. I know I've mentioned Lincoln quite a lot, but they're sort of similar to us last year. Whereas I think we had that bit more ruthlessness in us. Whereas these guys, it's weird talking about that coming off a 1-0 win away at one of the fallen teams in the league, but they get their heads down and they perform a couple of times where they don't reach the levels that they probably should do, and that probably, in terms of my point of view, probably sees them out the top 6. Which, I mean, it's been a good year for them though, hasn't it? Based off last season and the fact they've lost the manager. So, I think the swings and roundabouts to Plymouth year, a really good consolidation year, but Schumacher must really be looking next season to try and emulate it and get a bit further, which, as we all know, is quite difficult in a really competitive League One, and it's shaping up to be equally as competitive next season with the teams coming down and the teams coming up again.
Yeah, only Rochdale conceded more goals than Plymouth last season, and Plymouth, Rochdale went down. Plymouth conceded a lot of goals. When you got Jeff coming off the bench, there's always an opportunity to win games of football, and they've done that, and they've done really well. Very well. 7 wins from the last 9 games is unbelievable. Yes, the next 3 games do come at home for Argyle again, Portsmouth, Accrington, and Cheltenham, all at home park to come. If you're looking at it, you should be looking to. If you can get 7 points out of them, that's an absolute dream, I think. Even I think 6 would be a good return. I think you've got to have a look at the Accrington and the Cheltenham game, and Portsmouth, if you're around, if you can get something out of there, you're denting someone else. I think it's a huge game. Wimbledon 0, Lincoln 2. I could see that little bit of a smile come on your face, which I don't know how winning feels anymore, so I don't know what it feels like. You've gone to a back 3. You said he's suited you. You've gone with wing backs. And I look at it as Marcus and Hopper, well, Alan Shearer, as we like to call him, with Maguire just in behind. And I think Chris Maguire's best position is as a number 10, as in behind the strike. I don't think he's a very good player, but I don't think he's got the legs or the speed to possibly be a winger like the likes of Brennan Johnson that you've had before. Like other wingers in this league have got the pace to go out wide. His best position is an attacking midfield. He will get goals. He will get assists as a number 10 because passing a range, he can find goals, he can find gaps. And 2-0 win, clean sheet, back-to-back wins, Appleton plan B, great weekend.
Yeah, it was probably not as comfortable as the scoreline suggested. Wimbledon, once we went down to 10 men, Brooke Norton-Cuffey, who's been a revelation since coming in on loan from Arsenal, probably got wound up by Lee Brown, but senior pros against people making EFL appearances, you probably expect that. He got sent off. The club are looking to appeal it. Hopefully, he'll be able to play tomorrow night at Rotherham. But like you say, the first goal, Lewis Fiorini in the middle of the park. It's interesting you talk about Chris Maguire at the number 10 because Fiorini is someone we really want to see in the number 10 position. He's been found a bit wanting, and when he's sometimes one of those two that have to hold back. You can see, I don't know if you saw the goal nappers, the strike, unbelievable. That's not the first time he's done it this year. He did it at Cambridge. He did it against Rotherham in the home fixture as well. And then the second goal, John Marquis all over. You've got Ellis Harrison, we've got John Marquis, strikers that Pompey just didn't want. And I literally have no idea why. John Marquis is the epitome of a Danny Cowley player as well, because he goes round, he claps everybody, and then but like the goal, he goes and shuts the goalkeeper down, puts it on a plate, Ted Bishop into the corner. I don't know if you've seen the limbs on Twitter. I mean, they're pretty good. I sustained a couple of injuries, but no, like I say, the permutations of it, we've probably dragged ourselves out of it for now until we lose another 3 games and we're straight back in it. But looking at Wimbledon, they're really poor, and they've not won since the 7th of December, since beating Accrington, like you said earlier, and I really struggled to see a way out. Obviously, they didn't have the main striker. He was out injured. They had to play. They had to recall somebody on loan from Havant and Waterlooville just to fulfil the fixture. And you could really tell the heads dropped once they scored the first one. They made a few chances. Never looked like scoring. Jordan Wright made some really good saves. And like you say, good weekend in the capital. Although the bloody way back was horrible, driving through central London. So. Yeah, happy to be home, and look, thankfully it's a more local away game on Tuesday night.
Absolutely, and 3 points the better. Lee Brown's comments are definitely interesting at Wimbledon. They're the only side in League One yet to win in 2022. Their last win coming on December 8th, away at Accrington, 2-0. Lee Brown says if they carry on the way they're doing in performances, they will get relegated, and he's not used to this. And they're going to have to do. Some players aren't hurting in that dressing room. That is strong words. And Tony asked before on Twitter, do Wimbledon, Fleetwood need to change? If the Morecambe obviously change for different reasons. Wimbledon and Fleetwood are both 2 very similar clubs with 2 managers in there. They've both been high from within. They both had good spells when they started off. And they both probably shouldn't be in a managerial role. That is a fact. Robinson, that squad is not a bottom 6 squad, and I hate to say it. Striker-wise, I'd look at him, Embood and Robinson up front. Where's the goals going to come from? I know Embood has got, I think it's 2 goals in 20, something like that. You have got Rudani, Assel and McCormick who will score goals, but he's a goal scorer. Letting Ollie Palmer go was a big miss. I know they got a big fee for him, but they've not replaced him. But I look for a plan B. I look for an inspired sub, and I look at Wimbledon. I think they're too nice, and Lee Brown hindered on that. I also think Fleetwood are the same. I know Fleetwood are a very younger side, and they haven't got the experience of maybe Wimbledon. Look, Wimbledon are a good side. They've got Woodyard, they've got Hennigan, they've got Nightingale, they've got Alexander, they've got Lee Brown. The experienced players, but youngsters like Robinson, who was in the National League South a couple of weeks ago as well. Dapo and Mood. Rudani's still a young lad. Assel's still a young lad. You got a young goalkeeper, and T's now in goal. But it's not for me. I look at that Wimbledon side, and it should be. I think Robinson will be sacked if they fail to win in the next game or so. And you've seen it with Wimbledon in the past. They've always brought a manager in, kept him up the next season. Early on, they've always been sacked. Look at the last few managers. Neil Ardley was sacked for less at Wimbledon, in my opinion. I look at Crane. I feel for him. I think he's a very good motivational speaker, and I think he's a very good manager that can rile players up and get a reaction. The performances are actually not bad from Fleetwood. That is, but tactically in games, 2-0 up away at Burton, I don't care who you've got on the pitch. You don't lose 3-2 to Burton. You don't draw 3-3 away at Portsmouth. You don't go and lose 3-1 away at Sunderland. You lose 2-1. You don't go and concede a third. And for me, tactical errors by Wimbledon and Fleetwood could cause them. Whoever moves first, and I honestly believe there'll be a move in the next week. Whoever moves first will stay up this season. And my gut is going for Wimbledon, and we'll go and get Steve Evans. I'm telling you that now, Jake.
If you want me to be honest with you, Ben, I spoke to Ray, who's a Wimbledon fan and a contributor to their programme before our game on Saturday, and he said that Robinson's job is completely safe at the moment. So, in terms of the fact he says they're one of the most patient crowds in the EFL, obviously not many managers would last on this 17-game winless run. And I think Ray was trying to make clear that even if Wimbledon got relegated, Robinson would be the man to bring them back up because he's part of the fabric. I think Fleetwood will make the move first. I don't think you can carry on with Craney. You leave it to the summer, which is what you're planning on doing. Could be too late. You could be in League Two, and getting Steve Evans, as much as most football fans detest him, because I certainly do, is probably your best chance of staying up. And we don't like managers losing their job nappies, but when you look at Fleetwood, and I know you're emotionally invested into it, I think they're going to have to change it up.
It's a hard one because I honestly believe Simon Grayson was sacked for less. I honestly believe that. Now, he was sacked off the base of a weak Oxford side. Now, Oxford mates had 9 of the 11 that played us starting the previous game, even though they had an outbreak. And Grayson lost his job off that performance. Now, Grayson was averaging 0.84 points a game. Well, no, 0.82 points. Crane was averaging 0.95. If under Grayson, we lose a 3-0 lead away at Portsmouth, a 2-0 lead away at Burton, a 1-0 lead away at Sunderland the way we did. There's plenty more to name. And I know we've come back from positions where we've been at. But we did that under Grayson. He'd be getting absolutely slandered. When Stockton scored from his own half, all I heard was Grayson out. When Wigan came back from 2-0, all I heard was Grayson out. I don't get why Crane is treated differently. I like Crane. I think he's a top bloke. He's in a difficult job. The players aren't the young players, and I want to give them the opportunity, but they're clearly not good enough. They aren't good enough yet. They've got quality, but they need experience with them. They haven't got that. They're like a young group that's been sent. They look like a group of year 4s that have been sent out to a PE lesson with no PE teacher. That's how I describe Fleetwood. I'd honestly describe them like that. There's just no leaders in there. The average age of the squad the other day was 22.9, and we're on to Fleetwood now. They lost 3-2 at the weekend, if you don't know. They were 2-0 up, and you look at the squad: Kieran O'Hara, Danny Andrew, Toto Nsiala. Other than that, there's no experience. Now, Danny Andrew got taken off after 4 minutes. That's 15 injuries now for Fleetwood, by the way, if you don't know. That is an unbelievable amount of injuries. You look at Morris, Hayes, Lane, Bagley, Boyle, Johnston. It's the first season really in football. You've got Callum Johnson, who's played out of position, I think he's okay. He's improved under Craney, but I just worry for us. I really do. The next 3 games for Fleetwood are Wickham away, Donny at home and Crewe away. If you don't go and get 4 points from those next 3, I think they're done. I honestly think they're done. And if you go through 3 managers in a year, Jake, it shows the club are a mess and it shows deeper issues. So part of me goes, what's the point? If we're going to go, but if we bring someone else, and are they going to do any better with this squad? It's a weird one. But again, fair play to Burton. Umon here scoring 2 very good, well-taken goals. Molt, again, coming on the other day, scoring a goal. Johnny Smith was unbelievable, unplayable at times. Look at the experience of Burton compared. Again, great way to get out of a winless streak, eh?
Yeah, and I watched the highlights back on Quest Nappers, and it looked like kamikaze defending in many ways. Kieran O'Hara is no bad goalkeeper at this level. He's very good for Burton, very good for Macclesfield even before then. So he's not become a bad player overnight. And I think you've got a lot of players like Callum Johnson not become a bad player overnight. Like you say, the next 3 games, season defining. You've got, you say you have to take 4 points. They're all 6-pointers, aren't they? Because if you take the 3 points off them, could give you a 6-point gap. Do you know what I mean? And Donny are in a similar situation. I think they've got a load of games coming up that they had Gillingham on Saturday, which we'll talk about. Again, they're in a season-defining era, and you really worry for Fleetwood because the way that you can see the goals, like the second goal from the corner, just look, it's schoolboy defending Nappers, and you can't accept that in your position as a supporter because you put your hard-earned money in. It would probably take you 4 hours to get down to Burton from Fleetwood, and you're cruising at 2-0, and then they go and shoot themselves in the foot like that, and it's really disappointing. But I just think that your next couple of games, like you mentioned, Doncaster on the weekend is massive because you win that, you might get a bit of momentum, and Stephen Craney might all of a sudden become a better person around the fan base. And I can remember when I came up to Fleetwood, Ben, and I think Craney had been out playing pool with some of the supporters, and it's that sort of thing that get your supporters on side, but then you put in a performance like that, and a couple of weeks later, and they're all against you again.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, I'm Alex Cairns' biggest fan, and has he been good enough at times this season? I don't think he has. He's made mistakes, but you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to letting goals. If you concede 7 to 8 chances a game, which Fleetwood do. Like, you're not gonna keep clean sheet after clean sheet if you concede 7, 8 chances a game. And these aren't like pretty good chances. These are pretty black chances. Like, big balls into the box, 3-man. Giving time away. And I always say, and Benjamin Bloom's actually always said this as well, when you change your goalkeeper, maybe he's the man on his last legs. And Craney won't go. I think Craney's in the job till the end of the season. That is my view. But again, great result for Burton, and Fleetwood is still down there. And we talk about changing manager, Jake. Gillingham have done that, and they've been massively improved since it again. Again, you've got a great squad. Goldberg again, clean sheet against his former club in Doncaster. It was Charlie Kelman's first goal of the season. It was a scramble. But from a Gillingham point of view, you don't care. You win 1-0, you get out of there, and you go on to the next game, which, full of momentum and hopefully going to get 3 points again.
Yeah, now, this game, I took a bit of slack on Twitter when Gillingham beat us 2-0 at the Bank earlier in the season. These two, for me, are the worst 2 teams in the division by some way. And this was really important for Gillingham to get something from. And although they've changed manager from Steve Evans to Neil Harris, you can say the style of play hasn't changed massively. Obviously, they're still playing big for Dane Oliver up front. The emphasis is to get into him. You've got Thompson running off him. They did have Danny Lloyd, Charlie Kelman's coming to the team, and you watch the goal back. It's a typical Neil Harris team goal, isn't it? From a long throw in. Doncaster don't deal with it. I think the goalkeeper's too indecisive, completely flaps at it, and Charlie Kelman nips in from what maybe 0.3 inches off the goal line. But yeah, like you say, Gillingham are starting to come up a little bit, and I think they're level on points for Fleetwood now, and that's really dangerous for you because they've got momentum. They've won a couple of games. You're on the side where you've lost a couple of games. It could easily, quickly turn tables, and yeah, I mean, as bad as Gillingham are, they're going to have a way to stay up because the manager. If you think about Neil Harris, Nappers, he's had some big jobs. Millwall, he got them promoted out of this league and established them in the Championship. He got the job at Cardiff, which at the time I think they were a newly relegated Premier League side, and that's a really tough gig. When you come down, I mean, Danny Cowley found out when he went and managed Huddersfield because there's the expectation. But at Gillingham, I feel like he's gone in and there's, oh, well, we're relegated now, so it's no point. And that's such an easy way to motivate your players. And now look how they're performing for him. I mean, the style of football is still horrendous. I might be called arrogant again by somebody for saying that. I'm not fazed by it. But look, it's difficult. Look, it's really difficult. And probably a really bad result for Doncaster more than it is a really good result for Gillingham.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't agree with the fact that Gillingham play poor football. I get that, but come on, you're in a relegation fight. You've got 7-8 games to go. You're playing Doncaster, who are down there with you. I'm playing Lincoln, who at the moment, at that point of time, you were worried about going down. They're not going to play expansive fancy football and go to have 80% of possession, have shot. They've got to get a goal, nick it, keep 2 bags of 4 or 5-4-1, however they want to set up on the day, and basically just be like, you break us down and we'll count on you. And that's what they did on the day. That's what they did against Doncaster. If it gets results, Neil Harris has added a nasty factor at Gillingham. They're not nice anymore. They were rolling over under Steve Evans, which isn't a Steve Evans performance. Fleetwood, Morecambe, Wimbledon, Crewe, Doncaster roll over too easily. And they've got a lead when they haven't got a lead. And that you never know what you're going to get. Under Gillingham, if they go 1-0 up, you feel they're going to hold on to that. And if they keep doing that over the course of the season, they'll stay up. It's as simple as that. And would you rather get, say, 6th, Jake, in the league next season, play like Gillingham, or would you rather be where you are now and play unbelievable fantasy football like MK Dons do, but you're 17, 18th?
Yeah, I think you're right, because I'd rather finish in the playoffs playing that sort of football. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's not pretty on the eye, and we were that team under Danny Cowley. Yeah, it wasn't good to watch at all, but they were winning, and yeah, I mean Gillingham are on a bit of a run, aren't they? But in terms you flip this, I know I'm sort of completely making myself look a bit of an idiot, but you flip at this from a Doncaster point of view. I think 18 Dapper said it. I think Aaron Challenger said it. I think that is pretty much a nail in the coffin for Doncaster. Losing, they'd have looked at Gillingham and thought that's a game we can get something from, and they from what the highlights package sort of showed, they never really threatened the goal of Dahlberg, and you'd probably say alongside Crewe now, that damaging defeat, what is the mental capacity it's going to have on the players, that's massive. And I think you can sort of consider, like you're saying, it's 4 of 2, but I think Doncaster might be that second team that slipped down with Crewe and ultimately might well be gone by now.
It's absolutely mental. A team could stay up this season with about 45 points.
Yeah.
But it's even more mental that you might need 80 points to get into the top 6. Yeah. 80, maybe 8 years ago, you possibly could get away with getting 70. 80 is a big, big improvement again. Now, again, thank you, Dean, for the donation. All the donations do go help supporting the channel. 4-0 win all over it's coming. Now, I never said this. If you look at it, there's a question mark. Were Ipswich, Rob, they dominated possession, they got better chances, but I don't mean that. There was maybe a little bit of an aerial duel where the ball was put across.
Yeah.
I think the ball was going in anyway. Just he puts it home again and disallows it. I think it is a goal. And I think it's slightly unfortunate. But again, Portsmouth fair play to him. Like you said, you played Saturday, Tuesday for the last few weeks. You've gone to get 7 points out of, Fleetwood, Accrington and Oxford at home. Somehow they beat Accrington and beat Oxford and George Fleetwood, after being 3-0 down. That's an unbelievable week, by the way. I don't know how they didn't get 9, because they should have won that game 4, maybe 5-3. And they're going to beat Crewe away. These are sides they should beat. But going to Ipswich away from home, a side, by the way, that had kept 11 out of 15 clean sheets, which is unbelievable. By the way, McKenna, 11 out of 15. Under Cook, they kept 4 out of 23 games. So what an improvement, from Ipswich. But a point all around, which I think would suit Portsmouth more than Ipswich. But Ipswich playing more games, again, not strengthening that gap on the players. I think out of the next 8 games, if they were to get the players, they'd have to win 7 of them.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nappers. I think that goal should have stood from Ipswich. I think it's Cameron Burgess, isn't it, that hits the ball across to Macaulay Bonne and he taps it in. But obviously, you have to think about it from the linesman. He doesn't know who's touched the ball. Yeah. So I can understand why he raised the flag, because Luke Wolfenden was in an offside position, but he didn't make contact with the ball. And Danny Cowley's got a knack of going to Ipswich, Nappers, and getting a good result. I remember us going there 5 years ago as a non-league team and doing it. Obviously, there's the whole debacle with Dominic Thompson on the touchline, which I found hilarious. But a good point for Pompey, because Ipswich, probably the best team I've seen Lincoln play this season. In the recent, we lost there 2-0 the other week. Ping the ball about ever so well. They make chances. And you say under McKenna that they're starting to keep clean sheets, and that's really dangerous. It's just a shame that they've left it so late in the season. You do this 2, 3, 4 months ago. Top 2 is not out of the question for Ipswich, but now you're thinking, especially with teams with games in hand, and Pompey coming there and getting a point, you're probably thinking Ipswich are probably not going to be involved in the top 6.
Again, when you got Selina and Chaplin and Dominic Thompson, these are really good players, and it will be interesting to see how they rebuild next year. MK1, Wigan 1. I think it's a mixed emotions for MK Dons, because they didn't play well. They didn't really create what they normally did. Maybe got a bit of nerves. They didn't want to lose the game, because if they lost it, it's curtains. If they draw it, they're still in it, but away off. And if they win it, you don't want to think about it. If you win it, you just think, wow, you go 6 points behind, Again, I like MK Dons team. I like Kelsey. He's on loan from Villa. He's impressed me since coming on loan. He used to score goals. You've got Parrott. You've got Dominic Harvey. You've got Scott Twine, who is the best player in League One by distance. But you're playing Wigan, who have got really good players in Callum Lang, Will Keane, Stephen Humphreys, Curtis Till. Kerr's on big money there. What more? Amos is a good goalkeeper. And he took a Harry Darling header, really good header in the 88th minute to rescue a point. One of those games where maybe just a point was kind of fair overall, but doesn't really suit either side, really, because it doesn't really change the complexion. All it does for Wigan is the one game closer to the championship. Yeah,
I think MK had to win this game, really. And you look at it, Wigan scored with their only shot on target from Tom Naylor. Like you say, MK Dons probably would want to win the game, given the games in hand that Wigan have. But for Wigan to go there, keep MK Dons out like they did, get a point, and they're level on points. They can go 9 points clear of MK Dons now, which you would think with 10 games to go. Well, less than that, 8 games to go for Milton Keynes now. It's very difficult to overturn 9 points in less than in 8 games. So Harry Darling, word to him. 8th goal of the season for him. Really impressive, since perhaps looked a bit suspect last year, but now really coming into it, and he's becoming dangerous in the opposition box and becoming a really astute pickup from Cambridge United. And you can sort of see why Russ Martin was desperate to try and bring him in over January at Swansea. And yeah, I think the result, as I say, suits Wigan. But MK Dons probably will be kicking themselves in the quality that they've got in that squad, and obviously they've won the 4 prior to that. So disappointed for MK, but for Wigan, like you said, 1 foot practically in the championship now, it would appear.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And you talk about MK Dons, their rivals Wimbledon, I want them to get 9 points over 46 games. Never mind 9 games at the minute. It just shows you the difference at both football clubs at this moment. And Morecambe lost again at home. Their last 12 games, draw, loss, draw, loss, draw, loss, draw, loss, draw, loss, draw, loss. 6 points, half a point a game. Losing again. They've not had that manager bounce. They have played some tough sides. They were so unlucky away at Bolton. The ungone, 95th minute, Bolton score. That's 2 90-plus equalisers against Morecambe, where they dropped 4 points, and they'd be out the bottom 4 without that. Cheltenham are an unbelievable side. We keep saying it. May's on 11 goals in his last 9, 18 for the season. Sure, he's got to go and get 20. Wright was unbelievable the other day. He got 2 assists and a goal as well. He's been, brilliant. 6 goals, 4 assists for that man this season. He was riddled with injuries. That's where Cheltenham started to struggle. He's back now. You've got experience in Seracom and Williams and, Boyle, who's, played a lot of games at Cheltenham now. You got Evans in goal, who they signed over the summer. Definitely one of the shocks of the season for me. And they've been pretty solid and, never been anywhere near the bottom 4. But for Morecambe, it's got to improve. They have got a good side, but they've got to win games of football. And you look at the next few games that are coming up. They've got Shrewsbury away, which is an absolute massive game. You've got Wigan away, which you don't really expect to get anything from, but you could nick something. You've got Oxford at home. And they're tough games. But every game in League One, Jake, is really tough when you're at the bottom and you're struggling to, you can't win in 12.
Yeah, I'll start with Cheltenham because obviously they're the team that won here. Really impressive. Michael Duff, I think every time I come on here and Cheltenham have played really well. It's so surprising to see when Championship managers, clubs are parting with their managers that he's not up there or, for team towards the top end. Like when Sunderland sacked their manager, Duff, he's there. He knows what he's doing. Absolute. I don't understand why they won't appoint him because he's from Cheltenham. But no, I think also you talk about Alfie May, really good run of goal scoring form. Cheltenham will be delighted that he turned down to go to America in the January window. Callum Wright showing you exactly why having multiple loan spells at a single football club can pay off. Obviously, on loan there before, came in again this season from Leicester. I think he's been unbelievable in that number 10 role and played really well. On to Morecambe then. Half a point over 12 games is not good enough. Obviously, you'd expect bringing Derek Adams back, obviously a coach that had got them promoted last year, hadn't worked out for them at Bradford. You'd think that there might be a bit of a honeymoon period. They might start picking results up. I think they got a draw at Ipswich, and that was probably their honeymoon period over, wasn't it? Yes, they should have had a penalty at Bolton. I mean, I can't deny that it was pretty stonewall. And we've got that referee tomorrow night, which doesn't fill me with confidence. But yeah, really struggling for Morecambe, and that game against Shrewsbury is massive, isn't it? Because they'll be eyeing that up as a chance to go there and win a game. And then Wigan, although Wigan are really good on the road, their home form has been a bit patchy this season. And they'll take the confidence from the performance away at Bolton and go, well, Bolton were one of the form teams in the division. We've gone there and given them a really good game. Should have won the game of football. They'll probably take that into Wigan. And sometimes it's those games where you've got no expectations that you go out and win. Hence, our result against Sheffield Wednesday last week. And I'd like Morecambe to stay up because obviously this is the first time they've been at this level in the club's history. But it's difficult to see them sort of staying above that dotted line now. They probably might find themselves in it within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Wednesday, 6-star performance. The next few games are against sides, not in that top 10, which you'll be glad to know, but they're the types of sides that they've struggled to beat. Accrington at home, Gillingham away, and Cheltenham all to come. 6-0 against Cambridge, like Cheltenham, have been pretty solid all season. One of those off days, Berrino getting his first league hat-trick of his career, also grabbing an assist. Brian's getting a goal, great news for him. Again, solid all round. Gregory worrying, 1 goal in 9. Barry Bannon with an absolute peach, by the way. Great goal. Who gives Barry Bannon the time of day to shoot? I think that's 8 goals for the Scottish magician. And Mark Bonner did describe him as the best player in League One. I would certainly put him in my top 3, but I don't think he's my best one.
No, it was good of Lewis Fiorini to let Barry Bannon back out of his pocket from Saturday for him to attend a game at Hillsborough on Saturday. Sheffield Wednesday needed to win this game, didn't they? And they did it in some pretty good fashion. I mean, I think by all accounts, Marvin Johnson was one of their best performers on the day. Really good at left wing back, and made the assist for their goal at Lincoln last week. And then Sada Berahino should not be playing at this level. Nappers, I think I've seen this said before that Sheffield Wednesday in this division is, with Darren Moore in charge, is the perfect environment for Berahino. Obviously, Darren Moore was at West Brom with him when he was coming through the youth ranks. But for Cambridge, really disappointing. Obviously, they're prone to a bit of a spanking sometimes. You can't be at it all 46 games, and going away to Hillsborough is a difficult task, even on your best day. And I think from all accounts, it was very one-sided. It's like when you have a game of FIFA and you play your dog or something like that, and they don't know how to work the controller. And I think
Like, you're clearly a better player. Just pass it around the back.
Yeah, I think so. And George Byers will be happy getting a goal.
Great goal as well.
I know he was at Portsmouth last year, and I think he's found a home now at Sheffield Wednesday. That midfield 3 of Luongo, Bannon, and Byers looks to be working really well now. So, good result for Wednesday. Cambridge, again, like you say, they've been really good so far this year, and an off day like this won't see their place in League One next year threatened whatsoever, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, spot on. Again, just to quickly wrap up the games now. Shrewsbury 1, Oxford United 2. Matty Taylor, 21 in all competitions, 19 in League One. His best League One goal tally for the Ox. He's only managed 17 in his last few seasons for them. He's scoring goals like fun. Cameron Brannigan also notched another penalty at the weekend. Again, Ryan Bowman scored his first goal in 15 games the other day. It's his longest spell without a goal for the Shrews. Great win result away at Oxford. Consolidates that playoff space. And again, the highest goal scorers in the league. They've scored, in the 70s. And I think it's 7 more than Sunderland. They have conceded the most in the top 10 joint with Sunderland. But they're like, if you go and score 4, we'll go and score 5 or 6 or 7, aren't they?
Yeah, the 73 goals they've got so far this year, which in 38 games, nearly 2 a game, which is incredible to last that such a long period of time. And the threats that they've got at the top end of the pitch, White, Sam Bollock. I know Bollock's out for a little bit, but Matty Taylor is an exceptional poacher at this level. And I would probably say that Oxford are the team that are probably going to cement their playoff position. I think it's either MK or Wigan and then Oxford that are definitely going to make up the top 4. I can't see Sunderland, Plymouth, Wednesday, Wickham or any of them below catching and them. And that's another good season for Carl Robinson, isn't it? And, people might slag him off in terms of he says nasty things about your team, but he knows how to win games at this level. And, a scouser that knows a thing or two about football might be a good thing for Oxford. And this year, 3rd year running, they get the playoffs, might be the year they just go up. And even, if it's, I think everybody wants an MK Oxford final because I think that would just be so entertaining. And I don't know. I just think the experience that Oxford have in the playoffs, I think MK are a better team.
Yeah.
But Oxford have that experience of getting to a playoff final. They got beat by Blackpool last year. I just fancy Oxford for the playoffs. They've been there. They've done it before. And MK came mid-table last year. So I just think Oxford have got that about them, and they've got the bit in between the teeth now. And like you say, good performance Saturday, and they're on the way, really, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. They've been 90 minutes in, basically 180 minutes away from Wembley in the last few years. Again, defeat to Wickham in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Blackpool last year, where Blackpool probably deserve. Well, they did deserve the result over 2 legs. They were unbelievable. Again, Sunderland beat Crewe. Sunderland 2 good results against 2 sides that are in the bottom 6. Crew, what do you need to say about them? They're like a pigeon with no wings that they can't fly. That's can't do anything. They're just waiting. They're 28 points worse off though, Jake, than last season. He had 53 points at this time last season, so a huge drop off. When you're only on 25 points. You pretty much halve your points of last year. Crew were unbelievable last year. They're another one that I'd stick with Dave Artell though, and hopefully they'll get a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Crew last year were probably what Cheltenham and Cambridge are this year. So if you're those two sides, you'd sort of be thinking, we're going to have second season syndrome, because obviously we know it exists. And yeah, I mean, I've got friends that support Crew. They said they didn't play too badly. They felt that they restricted Sunderland to not a lot of chances in the 90 minutes. Obviously reflected by the first goal coming in the 84th minute. Obviously Dan Neil come on as a sub, really tidy finish. Not sure why they wore their away kit at home, but
no, I know that's bizarre.
That's fine. And then Patrick Roberts. Well, all the talk was about Patrick Roberts in January. Oh my God, he's been to Man City, he's been to Celtic, he's done this, he's done that. He's going to be the best player in this division. That's his first goal. And he's 2 months into a spell, month and a half into his spell. Might have had injuries, whatever. It's about time he got going, because he's a really talented footballer. And like you say, Sunderland, it's a good result for them. Probably gives their fans they've lost these sorts of games recently at home, not to Fleetwood, but to Lincoln. And yeah, it's good for Sunderland, because they're starting to believe again that they've got a few wins on the bounce, haven't they? They might just sneak a playoff place. It's difficult, but like you say, it's about time Patrick Roberts showed up, because the way their fans were raving about him on Twitter, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it'd be good to see what he's like in the flesh on Saturday as well, I think. Yeah,
and Mateti's been brilliant as well since he's got Evan, you've got O'Neill, you got Neil as well, who were Defoe starting, and he's not scored yet, but he was really good when he came on. Alex Neil subs. Again, we said it when he first came in, very tactically abrupt. He knows what he's doing, and they win games of football. He might not be pretty, but subs have saved the day. Again, last of not least, we're going to go to Wickham and Rotherham, a game that really didn't have anything quality in it, no real chances for a Michael Smith header. Stockdale, the number 13 clean sheets for Wickham, but 21 for the Millers. They played 37 games. They've kept 21 clean sheets. They've only conceded 21 goals in the other 16 games. They haven't conceded a goal in the first half away from home this season. How good is that? And how much does that show you? Again, Oxford, Wickham could both be put in this bracket of trusting a manager when it doesn't go your way, and you get your full rewards in the end. Is this just the reward of a steady club that give a manager what he wants and keeps a manager at the football club regardless, win, lose or draw?
Yeah, I've got a stat from this game, Nappers. I know you're a big stat man. Only around 100, 300 completed passes in this game, which sort of tells you the sort of game that it is. I think I spoke to Will, who's a Rotherham fan, this morning, and said the ball was in play maybe 30 minutes. But in terms of Rotherham, he was disappointed with a draw. They felt they had a chance to go and win it right at the end. I think they probably could have done. But no, giving both of these clubs, give your manager time and you'll reap the rewards of that, and Paul Wall. I think Rotherham this year are miles better than the team that got promoted out of the COVID-19 season a couple of years ago.
Spot on. I thought they were lucky to go off, if I'm honest with you. I really did.
And I think, I think it's the installation of Josh Vickers in goals, by all accounts, has been an absolute revelation, which I'm not surprised by. I think Victor Johansson had got 9 clean sheets, got kicked out of the side, and Josh has come in and kept 11 or 12. Really impressive. Obviously, the stats there, they don't concede away from home at all in the first half. That gives you a really good base to build on, knowing that you're not going to concede in that first half. It gives you that confidence. Well, we're not going to concede in the first half. We can go out there, play our game, get ahead, and we know we're going to be fine. And as for Wickham, it's difficult, isn't it? They're probably thinking they can still get a top 6 spot. It's difficult. I think it's really difficult. I think there are better sides than Wickham going for the top 6 at the moment.
Yeah.
But having said that, the way they play football is effective for them, it got them promoted a couple of years ago. So a really interesting game, bit of a bore fest, but I think both sides would see this as a do not lose game, and ultimately that's what they both did.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to go on to the League One table just quickly. Rotherham and Wigan lead the way. We said it's done all year. And MK Dons are level on points, but they have played 3 games more. Now, if it goes dramatically wrong for Wigan and they lose all 3, MK Dons will go into the top 2 on goal difference, because they're only 2 in goal difference, 2 away. They're going to lose at least by 1. And I'm going into Michael Owen here, but they'll go to -24, and then the swing, if MK Dons carry on winning the games of football, or the goal difference doesn't get worse, of course, as well. That won't happen. I'm pretty sure of that. But there's a little bit of pressure there. And I want to know, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I want a quick answer.
Yeah.
For the final time this season, your top 6. Because I think we're narrowing it down. I think Ipswich are out of it, if I'm honest. I think they're in it, but this type of out of it as well. With how many they play more games, you've got to remember that as well. Yeah. I think we're down to Wickham, Wednesday, Plymouth, Sunderland, Oxford, MK Dons, Wigan for the player. I think Rotherham are up.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you.
Yeah. So my top 6 nappers, in order, not in order.
Go from 6th.
All right. Wednesday, Sunderland.
Yeah, great.
Oxford.
Yeah.
MK, Wigan, Rotherham. It's so that this is why MK had to win that game on Saturday nappers. If MK had won that game, it becomes a bit of a momentum shift, and we can go, oh God, we've lost that game. We really need to not lose that, and that can affect their 3 games in hand, because it's all good having the games in hand, but you've got to win them.
Yeah,
so
you have.
And like you say, Rotherham. I think Rotherham need maybe 13 points more to make sure of automatic promotion. But yeah, I think that's the top 6 for me. I think Plymouth will be unlucky to miss out, but Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland, I'm not sure which way around it will be, Sheffield Wednesday or Sunderland. I think with the games in hand, you probably say Wednesday 5th, Sunderland 6th. But
I don't think the order does not matter. As long as you are in like the Premier League does. If you're in the top 4, you're in. With the playoffs, if you're in it doesn't matter if you finish 6th, if you finish 3rd, as long as you're in the playoffs, you're in. You've got you're 3 games away from the championship. That's how I look at it.
I take it you're in agreement with me then, Nappers. That's your top 6.
Yes, I am. I do think Plymouth are unlucky to look out. Again, I've got the next 3 games for all the football clubs in front of me here. And Oxford and MK Dons are certified. I think, if in my opinion, the thing is with MK Dons, is it going to be the top 2? And I think they could have a hangover if they don't get that top 2. I think Fleetwood had that, and Scunthorpe have had that in the playoffs that season 5 years ago, where they both lost out in the semi-finals, where it was a Bradford-Millwall final, and Millwall ended up winning that game of football. I think Wednesday score for fun, and they are on a rhythm. They stopped drawing games as well, which is important. Look at a couple of games ago, they probably won 11, drew 10, lost 6. Now you're looking winning 18, draw 10, lose 8. That's more playoff form, and that's really, really good. Plymouth are going to be unlucky, but I think that patchy little bit of form. I think Sunderland, if you look at their fixtures, they are favourable. I did say that 2 games ago. I think they'll get 78 points, and I think they'll get into the playoff. Well, already they're a third of the way there. I think they're going to go and get another 12 from the next 8. And I think Ipswich, Portsmouth and Bolton can look out for next season. I really do. I think that it's been a good season for Bolton and Portsmouth overall. I think Portsmouth are where I expected them to be. They've got better. They've had positive moments, because let's not forget, 16 games into the season, there was a couple of Portsmouth fans thinking, we could go down here. Lunatics fans-wise, but because they were never going to go down. The squad was too good. But the squad, in my opinion, has never been good enough to really challenge week on week. Bolton, much improved since they brought the new lads in. Fossey's been a revelation. Dion Charles has been excellent. Trafford and Gold's been brilliant. And they've got something to build upon. If they can bring Fossey in permanent like they did with Athlone, if you remember. Athlone, by the way, only scored 1 goal. Second half for last season. But it was more than that. I think he's on something like 11 goals this season. And then you look at, you look at Accrington, Cheltenham, Burton, Cambridge. Lincoln 41 points, Charlton 40, but sliding. I think Shrewsbury are still in it, but with Shrewsbury's defence, they've only conceded 37 goals, which is one of the least in the division. They conceded less goals than Plymouth, they conceded less goals than Sunderland, less goals than Oxford, less goals than MK Dons. Wigan have conceded less, only 4 less, and obviously Rotherham have. But defensively is not the problem. Attacking wise, I do think Adoa's going to get back to scoring ways and fire them up. And like last season, Jake, if you remember, it's a 16 mini league at the bottom of the league. Now, obviously, Wigan stayed up last year and Wimbledon stayed up. This year, Fleetwood, 1 point in the last 5 are in it. Wimbledon, 2 points in the last 5. Gillingham have it form, 7 points from the last 5. Doncaster are doing really well compared to all the rest, getting 4 points out of the last 5. And Crewe have got 3 points out of the last 5. How do you see it going?
Crewe and Donny, for me, disappeared, gone. Don't think they're really worth debating. 29 points in 38 games, not good enough for Doncaster. I think Wimbledon will be drawn into it. I think they've just not replaced Joe Pigott, and that is massive. Joe Pigott single-handedly kept them in the league last year with his goals. And you can say Ollie Palmer. Well, Ollie Palmer's not a massive goal scorer anyway. Yes, he's gone to Wrexham, but they've not then spent the money that they've received for Ollie Palmer and improved and brought in players like that. And, I watched them on Saturday and they were quite bad. Then, you're looking at one more, and your form concerns me. And I'd like to think that if you change your manager, you might get out of it. Gillingham, as much as I don't want to go back to that bloody away end next year, I think we'll stay up.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably Morecambe. I think it's Crewe, Doncaster, Wimbledon and Morecambe, and then it will be Fleetwood, Gillingham and Shrewsbury will be... I've made it 7. Sorry, Nappers.
I'll tell you something, right? I've said all year, right, and I sat in this exact spot in August, and I did my table prediction, and all summer I had Fleetwood 21st in League One, right? I had Morecambe 20th. I sat down, I went, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I melted. And I put Morecambe in and Fleetwood out. Now, I think Wimbledon will stay up. Now, I honestly believe having experience in relegation battles could help. I know Morecambe have got that. We are a level up. Wimbledon are used to being in this situation. They've got players, they've got experienced players, and they have got quality. And when they get 1 win, I think they'll go and get 2 or 3, and I think they'll be okay. And I did my table prediction, Wimbledon will be okay. I think Morecambe will go. I do believe that. I think, I agree with you, Crewe and Donny are done. By the way, how Crewe are only 8 points adrift shows how bad League One is this season. In normal seasons, they'd be 15 points adrift by now. So I think Morecambe are done. And for the last place...
He's going to put Fleetwood. He's going to say Fleetwood.
Fleetwood. I hate saying it.
No.
I hate saying it.
No,
You've got to be honest. If I came on here and said Gillingham are going to stay up, Gillingham are going to go down and Fleetwood are going to stay up. You look at the games, right? Gillingham. Let's do a points tally, Jake, here, right? Gillingham's games left, right?
Yeah.
I did this yesterday. Charlton away, I don't think they'll get anything. Wednesday at home, I think they'll draw. Accrington away, I think they'll win. That's 4. Sunderland away, they'll lose. Wickham at home, I think they'll get a point. That's 5. Cheltenham away, I think they will win. Because when a team is in a relegation battle, these weird results happen. And that's where you think, all of a sudden, you go from 35 to all the teams, you're on 45 here. That's 8. Fleetwood at home with 2 games to go, by the way. You talk about El Clasico. This is more like the El Sacchio. More like.
Dear.
I'll go for the draw. 9. So I'm getting splinters there, aren't I? Portsmouth away. They've got a good record at Portsmouth, but I think they'll lose. And Rotherham at home, I think they'll draw. No.
You're being too... Ben, you are sat here with... You're worried, and I completely understand why you're worried. but I can't see them picking up that
That's
many
10
points.
right?
I can't see them getting 10 points
That's
from those.
43 points, right? By the way, we are saying a team is going to stay up here with 43 points. I need to go through the games before I predict. But if you stay up in League One with 43 points...
It was 48 last year, Ben. 48.
That shows you the lack of 80 points for the playoffs. It was, 76 last year?
Yeah. League One was good last year, Ben. What are you on about? I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was until the playoff final, I guess. Wickham away, Fleetwood, they'll lose. Donny at home, I think they'll draw. Fleetwood have got 15 injuries, by the way, Jake. 15. And, that's half our squad. Well, pretty much 3/4 squad. That's 1. Crew away, I think they'll win. That's 4. Lincoln at home, I think they'll draw. If I'm honest with you, I said that earlier this season. That's 5. Accrington at home, draw again. 6. Oxford at home, lose. Gillingham away.
You said a draw.
That's 7.
You beat Wimbledon. You beat Wimbledon Nappers.
10. Wednesday at home, lose. Bolton away, 10. He's going to goal difference.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I really need a triple up bypass, aren't I?
I'm gonna call you on the last day of the season when we've comfortably beat Crew and got to 50 points, and you're gonna be either in tears or you're gonna be already in Jim's bar because you've already met them.
I'll up my angina. You're killing me. Yeah. I might just slow down the play and run off the pitch. Bolton are attacking, run on the pitch, just stop the play, just run away. But how do you see it, guys? Let us know in the comments. Who are going down? Who are your bottom 4? I want to know honestly, because I think it's going to go down to something like goal difference, and that's how tight League One can be. We'll look at Morecambe as well, because they're not out of it. We'll look at Morecambe and Wimbledon.
Goal difference is in your favour, though, Ben, at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's going to come down to it, but it's those results, how you lose them. If you're going to lose 3-0, 2-0, that's why losing. Like when Fleetwood lost 2-0 to Wigan, it was a good result because you didn't get hammered. You didn't go and lose 5-0. So it's like, it's okay. Morecambe, Shrewsbury away. I think they win tomorrow. If I'm honest with you.
Difficult.
Wigan away, they lose. Oxford at home, I think they draw. Burton at home, they win. Cambridge away, draw. Charlton away, lose. Portsmouth at home, lose. Dons at home, lose. Sunderland at home, draw.
That's 6 points.
That's 9.
9. I can't count.
Amount of fingers you've got, so 9. That takes Morecambe to 41. So you got Morecambe 41, Gills 43, Fleetwood 43. Well, let's see what we've got Wimbledon on for comparison. Cheltenham away, I think they win 3. Charlton at home, I think they get 4 from those regardless, whatever they are. I've got a positive feeling about that for them. Cambridge at home, I think they'll get a point. That's 5. Wednesday away, they lose. Dons at home, I think they draw. Crew away, they win. Wickham at home, they draw. Fleetwood away, we said we lose. And Aki at home, they win. That's 13. So that should surely, I think that takes them to, 46. So there you go.
Difficult.
Do you agree, guys? And Crew are going to end up with about 28 points, I think. We're going to come to the final comments. Looking at fixtures left, Crew, Donny and Morecambe and Gills, but going to the last day of the season for sure. Crew, Doncaster and AFC Wimbledon and Morecambe. You reckon Sunderland will draw? I reckon we take all the 3 points off every single game we have left. It's Sunderland.
Hold on a minute. Saturday, Chris Maguire will actually show up for a game of football.
I know. Crew and Donny are cert. Donny, Crew, then either Gillingham, Fleetwood, unfortunately. Big game tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So before we go, Jay, because we are running a little bit over, and I don't want to take into your busy schedule. Where can we go and find the States West podcast? Because I've enjoyed having you on today. Again, great result. I'll be coming on later on in the season to discuss the game. It's in 3 weeks now again. Now, we did it a couple of weeks ago where we met up. We had a good couple of days out, and and where can we go and find your channel?
Yeah, so if you want my wingman services, just drop me a follow on Twitter. Jake underscore.
You gotta drop it in.
Jake underscore Tang 98 is my Twitter. We do the Stacey West podcast, which is the biggest Lincoln City podcast around. With recent couple of years, we've had Michael Appleton on, we've had Harry Toffolo on, Clive Nate's the chairman, Liam Scully comes on quite a lot, our chief exec, and we've just had an episode go live with the new American investors, the Jabara family, which was really interesting. I do the preview show, which is based on YouTube, so Stacey West Podcast YouTube channel. I'm not as big as Nappers, but I'm trying to reach 500 subs. It's not, I don't put as much effort into it as Ben does, but if you could go and follow us on there, Spotify, Apple, it's all on there. There'll be a podcast out on Friday, so that will cover the Wimbledon game, the Rotherham game, and then look ahead to Sunderland on the Saturday. So feel free to go and look at that. I'm sure Nappers will be a nice man and put them all around for me. But you can see his face in a couple of weeks. We tend to do opposition previews. So there'll be one up tomorrow morning with a Rotherham fan. Loads of content. Going to try and have a big year next year with it. And hopefully this man is also on the channel next year, because he is... I really hopefully will stay up purely so that I can have another night out in Blackpool.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
it's really sort of self-centered, but no, really good lad is Nappers, and he gives you all really good League One content. So hopefully you're not covering League Two and going to Carlisle away next year.
I have been asked this. League One content will carry on regardless of what league Fleetwood Town are in. That is happening. And I'm not going to do what a certain other podcast did and scrap it off after 3 games. But I promise you, I will carry on.
Nappers, this is live. You can't say that.
I'm only joking. I will carry on. So don't worry about that. Again, go and give Jake a subscription. His podcast, The Top Draw, they're always good listening, and he's fun to film with. Again, if you could give this stream a like, let's try and get to 50 likes. I appreciate it. We've had crowds from 40 to 65 at times today. Probably more than that's going to Wickham tomorrow, which is a scary thing to think. I am going to Wickham tomorrow. I'll be back about 3 a.m. in the morning. So get notifications on for this channel, because the vlog will be hitting about 11 at night, and we want to see as many of you in those comments before you all go to Benny Buys while I'm on the couch listening to Iris again because I'm depressed about football. So if you get put the notifications on, subscribe if you are new, and please remember to like and subscribe. And Jake, any final words?
Of the imp snappers, just staying up.
And thanks everyone. Thanks Tony for again Paddy Lane getting called up for the Ireland team again. Brilliant news for that man. Anthony Barry for Fleetwood manager. Big shout. The cards, love it, Katie. Long way to go. Again, I'll see you tomorrow night. We've got Wickham away from home tomorrow at Adams Park. Big game for the cards. Jake's at Rotherham. Again, stay tuned for some more League One content. We are hopefully having another League One show later on in the week, all being well. Again, there will be some videos in the next few weeks as well. I will see you in the next one. Up the cards, eh? And up the what?
Up the imps, mate. Come on.
Love it. Go on the cards.